Looks like we're live. Okay, it is Friday, March 29th at 6:11 p.m. Central Daylight Time. Apologize for being late here. I got held up on some things. Real quick, content that's coming up. Novak video and Fallout New Vegas, either tomorrow or the next day. That would be Saturday the 30th or Sunday the 31st, depending on how long it takes to put the whole thing together. I worked on the script and thought I had it basically done last night. Thank you to Dark Malcontent for assisting with that. Hey, a lot of mercy. Good to see you. I then did some more rewrites to it today, ended up adding some extra content because I realized that I needed to talk about Chris Haversom, who's a character that can come join Novak after the RepCon content. And then along with that, I needed to mention the fact that you can bring the wrong person in front of the dino statue to have Boone shoot. So added that content, then like a little bit of a word on a house in Nipton, not Nipton, Novak, that has a couple of graves next to it. It's just an interesting little site. And reworded a few things here and there. Removed some repeated words, like was talking about like Novak saying like the community repeatedly instead of Novak, the town, the community, which I think just makes it sound better that way. But anyway, so hopefully going to be recording that audio tonight, tomorrow morning, something like that. Getting the video out either tomorrow evening or Sunday at some point. So could be an Easter video, could be a Holy Saturday video. We'll see. Regardless, what we're doing here today is going to explore a little bit of the Atlantic City content that launched Tuesday this week. Read the nightclub advertisement. Where's that wanting me to go? I assume that's part of this new content. Let's see, is it pointing me somewhere? I assume it's going to be like at a train station or something, like they used to do. Let's just go to Charleston Station and... oh, over encumbered. Okay, what do I have that I can throw away? Probably a bunch of new stuff that I have no intention of using, like this. Huh. That's an interesting weapon. I might hold on to that. But yeah, I've got a bunch of crap here that I picked up from completing expeditions, but I have no intention of actually wearing any of this stuff or anything. Because if you're not aware, this character is always playing on a Fallout world, so the risk of death is basically nothing. So anything that prevents death is not something that I actually need. So let's go ahead and head to... let's just go to the White Spring Station. That's actually... no, RNG Station is probably... actually, no. The closest station to where I am currently is probably Watoga Station. Let's go check that out. Although I don't know if I've ever seen those posters there or not. So... so yeah, after the Novak video, I'm going to be doing a lot of filming in Fallout 76 over the next week to 10 days, as the Mothman prophecies, I was about to say, the Mothman Equinox event is spinning up again, and I need to get that video recorded for both a Point Pleasant video and a Mothman cult video. So I'm going to be doing a lot of filming here through the first couple weeks of April. But along with that, look forward to more Fallout New Vegas content, specifically a RepCon video covering the corporation. Yes, here we go. And along with that, it's two sites, the location in Henderson and the RepCon test site as well. Because basically I barely cover the RepCon content in the Novak video, just because I feel like it needs its own dedicated video. So I simply say the ghouls that are currently at the RepCon test site that are causing problems for Novak are gone. So... and then again, talk about Chris Haversom coming to join the community. So, let's see. The Rose Room, nightclub advertisement, Atomic Fun, cocktails, and music. Oh, okay. I guess that was reading it. So now we have to attend the nightclub opening. Let's go ahead and see where that is. I assume that we're going to be doing the expedition system. Okay. Atlantic City. Interesting. Okay, so this is a new interface here. Flooded City Center. Is that the new location? Because I know I've been to the boardwalk before. And I think... yeah, that's tax evasion. Okay, the human condition. Okay. the way they show the lines here. Let me check the pit real quick before I do anything else. I want to see how that has changed as well. Okay, so it's still just the two. But I'm definitely going to have to check into how exactly, like, if these are actually now connected with these lines or not. That's definitely something I'm going to have to look into. And might have to do some sort of updated surveil video for those things. Okay, let's just check out the flooded city center because I haven't been there yet. Okay. Travel to the district or start a new expedition. Let's just travel to the district. I had heard that this was going to be the case, that these things were opening up. It's specifically why I put off making the surveil videos on Atlantic City, because I wanted to see exactly what happened before starting that up, because effectively I would have been like launching those surveil videos like today. It's like the content already would have been like 3 days out of date. So let's go ahead and see what's going on here. Okay. Who is this? Municipal Auditor Rapier. Okay.
Don't like killing. I'm just doing my job. Just kidding. Of course I like killing.
Okay. That's not something you like to see in government agents. Interesting. This is one of the more colorful locations that I've seen in the game so far. I mean, just like outside like the forest, you rarely see this much greenery. Because even places like the mire, which is full of vegetation, is like all yellow. Orange and brown. Definitely, okay. Where is this nightclub? Is it actually in this district or is it somewhere else? I guess it feels like it would be something in the casino quarter, but I could be wrong about that. Again, do they have local maps yet or no? I feel like they were talking about... No, I feel like they were talking about doing that for Starfield, not yet for Fallout 76. So, I still have my work cut out for me in making maps for these locations, so... Okay, so again, that's where we landed. We got municipal auditors up here on the roof. For a second, I really thought that was Preston Garvey over there.
Don't tell anyone, but Frida beat me in arm wrestling.
Okay. Assaulter, Rapier. There's Linux, our vertebrate pilot hanging out. Is that it? Those two? Do I assume then that Rapier is named Frida, or are there more of these municipal auditors hanging out somewhere around here? Okay, there's a civilian. Sounds like there's a storm coming in. Looks like some growing plots up here on the roof, but there's nothing in them, which is a little bit odd. Unless maybe that's a part of a quest where you're planting things. I don't know. There is, going back to the expedition system thing here, it says, where was it? Defend Atlantic City from Mother Nature's wrath. So who knows? Maybe that's part of that. Just had smoked sausage. All right, a lot of mercy. Let's see what we got here. Maintenance man. Living in Texas, I've had my fair share of good smoked sausage. Got our barbecue done right here in Central Texas. Let's see. Oh. Who is shooting at me over there? Oh. Is it behind? Oh. Okay, more thorns. This is good because, again, if you weren't here last time I was in Atlantic City, I really want to know what's going on with these thorn things. Like if they're just another form of ghoul for this area, or what else is going on with that. Let's see. Okay. Workbench, ammunition. So it seems like these locals live on rooftops, which makes sense with the flooded section of the district being down below. Although, I don't know. Yeah, I mainly say that because I'm thinking about the bugs and disease that comes with living near standing water. I mean, there's a reason that cities were not usually built in swamps, historically speaking. Unless they had to be. Places like New Orleans, Washington, D.C., stuff like that. Haven't played 76 in 6 months. Since you started your new job, you're looking forward to Atlantic City. I am too. I want to learn more about the actual lore that's going on here. Okay. Mob eyes only. Lab duty. Bitch all you want, but we're taking Bim and Bam for guard duty all over the Chem Lab. Or sorry, over at the Chem Lab, permanently. The cook's been getting jumpy about the plants in the area, and we can't let that affect her work. Capiche? The job she does for us tramps. Trumps. Anything you thimble brains think is important. Without her, there's no blood. Without blood, we're donezo. Blood. That's got to be some sort of drug. You remember which building the lab's in, right? Second floor, all sealed up like. Other side of the city hall, near the mess of pipes the munis used to use. Have those two report tomorrow at 0800 sharp. That's 8 o'clock in the morning in case you're too dumb to remember. And I know you are. Are you Big Fat Polly? I'm Lonnie Anderson. Found the strangest thing the other day, a slip of old world money they call a $2 bill. I'd never heard of one before. It's just the damnedest thing. It looks like a $1 bill or a 5 or a 10, but the thing is worth $2. At least that's what it says. This some kind of story here. I just know it. I can't let this discovery go uninvestigated. I'm putting out a call to the whole family to find more $2 bills, or more information on them at least. Anyone who does will be rewarded generously. I'm taking a bucket full of caps. I'm talking a bucket full of caps. This thing must be priceless, so I'll pay a fat stack and of change in return. $2 bills are a weird thing. And they're especially a weird thing in the Fallout universe where inflation has made it so that the $1 bill is like paying with quarters. Hiding in plain sight. If it's even worth that much. It's more like a dime. Can't believe the munis have been blind enough to let us sit here right under their noses for so long. Bam said we've had this place since the old TR's days. TR's day. I wonder if that's the... I gotta learn more about these people, because I know that there's a mafia boss that seems to be kind of out of it. Medical-induced sort of an issue. So I definitely want to look into that more. Imagine that. I'd like to see the look on Buttercup's face the day he finally finds out, except I wouldn't, because he'd beat me to death with the shirt I'm wearing. So instead, I just imagine and hope the day is a long ways off. Okay. How's it work? Seriously, can no one tell me how the back door works? It's like magic. You just knock enough times and it opens all on its own? I don't get it. The note says not to ask, but I can't help myself. Please, somebody tell me. Ain't that some kind of security concern after all? Okay. Local inventory. Beer, 20 cases. Wine, 30 cases. 10mm submachine guns, 2 cases. 10mm ammo, 15 cases. Fine Italian tailored suits, salvaged, 5 cases. The look on Bim's face when I showed him that $2 bill, priceless. Okay. So it sounds like there's a lab somewhere across the city near a mess of pipes that the back door of which can be opened by knocking a number of times. So I don't know if that's going to actually be anything important, but it's some information that we have now. So we'll see. This area is? I can't tell if it's flooded or not. Oh! Jeez. Okay, where am I in relation to where I landed? I feel like I need to go back this way. I think that may be where I went in. Jeez Louise, this is a maze. Okay, yeah, there we go. I'm definitely going to need to make a map of this, though. Okay, that's where I went in, I think. And then came out the other side over here. Yeah, okay. What's up this way? A lot of vegetation here. Like, a lot of vegetation here. This is very strange when you compare it to things like DC or Boston. And now, again, I've always heard that the reason that Boston is so orange and brown is because it's fall when you start the game. But, I mean, let's see here. Yeah, it's October 23rd, 2105 now, by the way, if you weren't aware of that. The date did change again. The year did, I mean. So it's also fall here, but I guess maybe they're... Like, some of these are pine trees, so they're not going to change color in the fall. But Okay. Yeah, I definitely need a map. I really need to make a map of this. Because now I'm walking in circles without even realizing it. Is the actual... I can't really look at the map, can I? Is the nightclub opening actually in this area? It would kind of make sense because this is a newly opened area. Maybe they'll update the timeline into Fallout 1. Yeah, it's always possible. Oh, did I? I think I already looked at this. This is the one with the $2 bill comments and all that. Yeah, okay. Again, I need a map. What's this up over here? Oop. Wow, I jump high. Okay, there we go. This is kind of creepy. I think more so because of that, like, kind of flickering fog effect that I'm getting there, but... crushed acetone canisters, crushed rusty canisters. This is... I feel like this is like a weird little spot that you can only get to if you've got Marsupial, or if you've got Fallout World that you're playing on, and there's nothing really to it. It's just a strange little spot you can get into. Yeah, I do like the Pip-Boy in 76 with a vacuum tube showing and stuff like that. Okay, let's see. Again, is this... Okay, this is not the spot where we came down. Oh. Now, obviously, this is far smaller than the Boston that we get to explore in Fallout 4, but I will say the performance in this tall building area is significantly better. But again, much smaller area. It's contained. It's not open to the outside world, so there's probably a lot of the performance that's just based on that. Let's see. Because I think effectively this is like its own world space, like it's almost like an interior, but it's outside, you know? Okay, we got a gas leak in here, but I don't really want to set that off before looking at things in here. Moving to a safer home. Dearest Stephanie, I'm hoping this letter doesn't find you, because I'm assuming you moved like most other sensible people. It's taken me ages to convince Irving that it's not getting any safer around here, not to mention those horrid green creatures keep lurking in the shadows, and there seem to be more of them every day. The other districts are so much better off, and he's finally agreed to move to the boardwalk. It's a shame to leave our old home behind. This apartment was a blessing before the war, and we were high above it when it flooded. But ever since the stairs fell through and Irving had to repair the bridge for a third time, the place just isn't worth the hassle. We're getting old, and I'd rather live comfortable for the years we have left. Until we meet again, Vicky. Okay, so this district seems to have flooded after the war. It makes sense, but I mean a ways after the war, not immediately. At least based on what they were saying right there. So that must be the bridge they had to repair repeatedly. The stairs fell through, they said. Is there any indication of where those stairs were? They probably just boarded up that area. Chemistry workbench. Or the stairs were maybe through there. Regardless, I don't think that the stairs are something we're going to be able to find. So. Okay. So we're getting a little bit of information about this place. The civilians that lived here. The fact that the mob has operations here. There's a municipal worker. What is this structure over here? I want to take a look at this. I gotta say, I like the architecture on this building. It feels very Fallout. And that it's like very, very like sharp edges and all that kind of stuff. It reminds me a lot of the kind of things that we'd see in like the original Fallout games. And some of the stuff you see in Fallout 3, except for there's no giant heads on the sides of the buildings and stuff like that. Municipal workers. Okay, this has got to be somewhere important if there's this many people hanging out here. Anything on this power armor? Nope. Just a chassis. What do we got here? City Hall. Okay. I should actually go back to reading the tooltips, but I got to the point where I'd read them all. But there are definitely new ones, and I just realized that.
I
Okay.
love your vacation wear.
I assume that's me he's talking about.
I need a sandwich quick.
Fat sandwich? Like, is she saying like she wants the sandwich to be thick, or that she wants a sandwich with fat in it? I'm assuming the thick one, but I don't know what the culture of this city is. So let's see. More civilians. This is one of the more
We always need extra
organized sites that I think I've seen in Fallout 76 outside of the three main settlements in Appalachia. Are these... Oh, metal detectors. Not functional. That's for sure.
Be honest.
Let's see.
Do I look like a tourist?
Leonard Boyarsky was the genius for putting giant heads on the sides of buildings.
Right.
Was that the artist in charge of that sort of thing?
Sorry. No time to chat.
What do we got here? More civilians, municipal workers.
I'm fused.
I wonder if we're gonna meet a mayor or something like that.
Let me tell you. You don't want
I really actually enjoy the fact that I'm visiting this place. I don't have a ticking clock telling me that I need to be completing these things. Art director for Fallout 1. Okay. That's pretty cool. I was thinking the other day about Dishonored and Half-Life 2 because they had the same art director. Unfortunately, I believe he's passed away. I could be wrong about that. I know that the composer for Dishonored has passed away. He was also the composer for the show Dexter.
96 today.
Let's see.
Well,
Anna Barone,
that's an
or
improvement.
Barone.
You and oh, you weren't the last caller, were you? Listen, I didn't expect things to escalate.
Is
so
this a
quickly.
radio station?
Wait, no, the voice doesn't match. Well, that was a botched first impression if I've ever seen one. I'm Anna. I work dispatch for the mayor's office.
Okay, interesting. You look really stressed out.
Ah, was it the eye twitching or the premature aging that gave it away? I'm on call practically 24/7, making sure no one in this city croaks. That doesn't leave much time for, you know, living. No one else wants to do this, and I can't stop now.
What exactly does a dispatcher do?
I am glued to the radio all day, every day, waiting for emergency calls to come in. Could be someone's Uncle Bob having a heart attack, could be the Overgrown taking down another power line. Regardless, it's my job to take these calls and make sure the right personnel are sent out to resolve it. I'm just the middle woman, really.
Interesting. The Overgrown taking down power lines. I really want to learn more about these creatures. I'm hoping that there's more about them here. I have a few questions about the Munies.
Go ahead. I've probably got another 3 seconds before I'm called again.
You and Frida seem... I've never even met Frida. How am I...
She keeps me sane. If it
Good.
wasn't for her,
Still alive. Okay.
I'd probably forget to eat. She's been sort of a replacement mom for me ever since my own ma
It was
disowned.
Daniel Licht that I was thinking about in terms of the composer, and I do know he is dead. And that must have been what I was thinking about with the director. I feel like there's... Well, there's several people throughout the Bethesda projects who have passed on since that time, but I know that... Anyway. Your parents disowned you?
Yeah, for joining up with the Munies. I grew up in the casino quarter. They were hoping I'd get in good with the family, maybe marry a nice mobster.
Interesting.
They were really disappointed to see I wanted to be an honest person.
So we definitely need to learn more. Okay, there's a mayor. We definitely need to learn more about these organizations. And by we, I legitimately do mean we. It's myself specifically, because, again, I've not done much with the Atlantic City content, which is why I'm very much looking forward to making these surveil videos, because, again, I don't know the lore of Atlantic City yet, and I'm looking forward to figuring out all of what's going on here, why it is that we're aiding the mob instead of the Munies in the casino district, which seems like we're helping the bad guys, but who knows, maybe there's some sort of weird reversal here, or it's the case that both sides are not really all that good. What can you tell me about Mayor Tim?
He's the leader of Atlantic City. Not Quintino, not Charlotte, Tim. None of those frauds care about the actual people here. They care about their ego and making caps. That's it. And he's not a politician, that's for sure. We don't sit around here passing around campaign buttons and kissing babies. Which, by the way, is gross. He took over after the last mayor had a breakdown and fled the city. He was just a farmer, really. A really pissed off farmer. No one else was willing to do it but him. The man doesn't have an ounce of anxiety in his body.
Interesting. Yeah, I think Adam was the person I was thinking about there, and Ferret as well. Matthew Perry, of course, the voice of Benny, and I believe River the dog that's Dog Meat, passed away a couple of years ago, maybe last year. Scott Benny. I'm not aware of who that is, but anyway, Buttercup is interesting.
You're telling me. Maybe I'm just bitter because I tried asking him out. It didn't go well. Supposedly, he used to be in a gang, if you can believe that. The rumor is that he got his name after he beat a man to death with a giddy-up Buttercup. Totally badass.
So, I don't know. I might be crazy for thinking this, and I've mentioned this many times in the past. I've made comments about it and Fallout subreddits and things like that, but it's insane to me that given the fact that Bethesda has a working horse model from like originally like Oblivion and then from Skyrim, that they have not introduced a rideable giddy-up Buttercup in any of the Fallout games. Because can you imagine a gang of raiders riding around on adult-sized giddy-up Buttercups with like glowing red eyes and horns welded on and things like that? Because it just seems like a real missed opportunity when they already have the horse riding mechanics existing within the engine, and they just have made no use of it whatsoever. Anyway, that's all I had for now.
Shame. I was liking the chit-chat.
I wanted to ask you a few things about Atlantic City.
Shoot.
Do the family or showmen ever respond to your calls?
If they aren't the cause of them, sure. They're both supposed to enforce the peace in the city. Kind of like pre-war police. They're only good at that when it's civvies having a drunken fight or some street thug trying his luck. Otherwise, it's two showmen fighting over who's the best performer. Or two wise guys throwing hands after the decency of someone's ma came into question.
What kind of emergencies do you respond to?
Medical, fire, environmental emergencies, you name it. If it's a problem, we need to take care of it. Recently, the Overgrown have become the source of most of our calls, and there's been a massive uptick in calls overall. You can guess why I'm not exactly pleased about that.
Okay, so there's a growing problem in the city with the Overgrown. So you've thought about the giddy-up Buttercup as well, and a Lone Wanderer motorcycle. I think that the horse would work better, generally because the Fallout world has such rough terrain and the roads are so damaged, that I feel like a horse riding sort of a situation would be the better way to go about it. But let's see. Dispatch terminal. I love how the game is just like, yeah, go ahead. Open up whatever terminal you want. Sure, that's a government computer that the operator of is standing right over there, but go ahead. No problem.
I'm sorry, sir. Can you repeat that?
Daily-
How many rad rats are in your basement?
Daily call logs. This computer is property of the Atlantic City Mayoral Office. Any unauthorized access is strictly prohibited and will be penalized, and yet here we are. 504. Date stamp 504-32. Dispatcher Harry Friedman. Caller location Boardwalk. Reason stray bullet. Some woman from the Showman's Haunt called us up in a glizzy over a stray bullet flying into her abode and striking her husband in the knee. Had to send a medic over, but what a show that must have been. What? This is bizarre. Like, they seem to be still running city services while they're doing like what's it called, battle royales on the boardwalk. What is this?
But I do worry about ending up with one less eye.
They would retcon horses in. I would hope that they wouldn't actually bring actual horses in because they've established that they're dead. But I would really appreciate it if they would actually bring in rideable giddy-up Buttercups at that point. I feel like that would be the place to do it, right? This is odd. 507. Wow. Okay, she is getting a lot of calls. This is 3 minutes later. Harry Friedman, caller location, center line, down to power line. Locals called saying the Overgrown took down the power lines in his hood and they lost electricity. Not really an emergency if you ask me, but I sent over some rangers and an electrician. So they have security forces, utility teams. This seems like it's actually a fairly well-run organization if they're a bit...
Are you gonna stick around a while longer?
I wonder if that person's talking to me. Probably. But seems like they're probably just kind of at the warrant edge of where they can be in terms of the amount of calls they're having to take. 514. And we know nothing about the lore of Atlantic City outside of this content, so it's not something where it's like, oh, we know by Fallout 3's time period the city's gone, so don't care about this. No, the Atlantic City could still be around by that point. We just don't know. Harry Friedman, city center, mugging. They respond to muggings even? Okay, so they have like real police forces. Mutiny on his way to work at City Hall called in here saying some thugs jumped him. Victim tried to deter them by yelling, "What are you doing? I'm walking here," to the muggers, which didn't really help at all. I called up the family of the showman to see if they could send some people over to police the streets, but they said it was too early to be fighting crime. Ah well, Buttercup will be jumping like a bean to rough him up. Okay, so they respond to muggings. 520. Harry Friedman, caller location, casino quarter, reason wrong number, got a call from a wise guy over in the casino quarter. When I asked him what his emergency was, he said he didn't mean to call and that it was a wrong number. Yeah, likely story, it's 5:20 a.m. Who prank calls at this hour? So either it is a legitimately wrong number or somebody was being murdered or something like that, called the police, and the killer picked up the phone and was like, oh, yeah. Or the person who was in the process of being robbed was basically told, you tell them there's no problem or I'll kill you. Addendum, thanks for subbing in, Harry. You have no idea how much I needed that coffee, but you can, but can you please leave your little personal comments to a minimum? This is a call log, not a diary. 523. Anna Barone, I should have listened. I don't know if she actually pronounced her own name there or not. Casino Quarter, reason overgrown incident. They called us up in a hot dog? Confused. Summary, got a caller in the casino quarter saying the overgrown are pouring out of the old train cars. They managed to attack a few civilians who miraculously survived. Sounds like there might be a nest in there. Dispatching Sloan and a few of her rangers? Yes, rangers to investigate and hopefully eradicate them. Also dispatched 2 medics to assess civilian injuries. I want to learn a lot more about what's going on here in the city. Wait, there's only 5? I guess they didn't want to keep making more of them, but 108 calls and there's only 5 available there. Intramail. Lane Frida regarding hang in there. Well, let's back up because it looks like this one's before it, meaning this is probably before that. Null Buttercup gift. From Buttercup Null, I guess he doesn't have a last name, to Anna Barone. Or Barone. Again, I don't know. Subject, gift. Anna, you've been looking really stressed out lately, but you should probably lighten up since you're still alive and all. I had to wipe out a few overgrown near the old community center yesterday, and I brought back one of their severed heads for you. Left it on your desk. Hopefully it'll remind you that you are a warrior, and we'll get through this. Unlike that overgrown. Wow. Okay. Hang in there. From Timothy Lane. Folks, I guess this is Mayor Tim. I'm not going to mince words with you and pretend that what we're seeing isn't what you're seeing isn't what you're getting. We're overburdened and overworked. We're barely getting by with a significant staffing issues as it is, but the threat of the overgrown has proven to be more than we can bear. We simply can't take on the burden of this city alone. Then it's a good thing that we're here. I intend on reaching out to our friends and allies in the casino quarter and the boardwalk to see if they can lend a hand in taming Mother Nature. Okay, so it's specifically within the Muni's district that this is becoming a problem. Maybe we've been cursed. Maybe man wasn't meant to survive nuclear Armageddon and we're just delaying the inevitable. Even if that's true, I intend to fight on fighting to the last breath to delay the inevitable extinction. To that, I make a simple request to you, simple yet difficult. Hang in there with me. Sincerely, Tim. I like that. I like that attitude. Again, okay, so Frida Lane regarding hang in there.
No, he quit.
Anna, I know you've been feeling really burnt out lately. I've been feeling the same way. And then, sorry, this is from Frida to Anna. I'm finding myself working around the clock to keep the city running, and for what? It's a cesspool of greed and violence. Is it really the best possible life in the world? Sure doesn't feel like it. Well, I'm going to tell you this right now. From what I've seen here, this city is better organized than most of the other areas I've seen in the Wasteland, so you're not really in a bad place here. Like, yes, there's definitely serious problems here, but I would say this is worth fighting for. Especially compared to the pit. Like, you can't breathe the air in the pit. Anyway, okay. I don't see that severed head, so I'm assuming she got rid of that thing.
What day is
Or
it
maybe
again?
mounted it somewhere, but I don't
Actually,
see it.
never
I'm
mind.
willing to bet you this was the original City Hall. What do we got over here? Is
You think the
oop,
plant folk
there's
know
Mayor Tim.
how ugly they are?
Atlantic City,
Of course, they don't
1854.
have as many mirrors
Okay,
as
this probably was the original
do they?
City Hall, or at least a city government building that's been turned into the City Hall.
Mother Charlotte
Let's see what we got
again
going
that
on
she
here.
can't
Mayor
keep
Tim.
growing up. Well,
So yeah, he does look like a
here's
farmer.
face I haven't seen before. I'm Mayor Tim, the front runner, if you will, of this humble metropolis. Welcome to Atlantic City, stranger.
Nice place you got here.
We just make the best of what we got. You should have seen this place in its heyday. It was a real architectural feat. There was time to stop and admire the beauty of the city. Then the world ended, and we were overrun by monsters, and had our bellies and hearts stripped of sustenance. Now this building's just a reminder of all our crushed dreams.
You don't seem bothered by anything at all.
Everything in life is ephemeral. It ebbs and flows. Sometimes things are good, too good, and other times life comes crashing down around you over and over again. We just happen to be living in the latter time. Buildings are a little more permanent than people, and ideas, well, they're the most immortal ones of all. One day, City Hall will rise again. Might not be in my lifetime, but it will.
So he takes the long view on these things, it seems. Some people say you're a bit too relaxed.
I guess you could say I've always been this way. You sound like you've been talking to Frida.
I've
I
literally
just
never met
really
Frida.
Felt stressed or worried. Never really knew anxiety was a thing until other people told me about it. Life's just a wave, and I'm watching it from the shore.
Okay. I'd like to know more about the mayor's office.
And I may have some answers for you.
Have you always been a mayor? I know this isn't true. This isn't the case, but
No, I wasn't. I used to be a farmer, if you can believe that.
I can.
Yep. Used to reap the land on the outskirts of Atlantic City. Just my wife Frida and I. Doomsday sort of ruined my retirement.
So what happened? How does a farmer become mayor?
By convincing my livestock to vote for me. No, in all seriousness, the situation in Atlantic City after the bombs was grim. The previous mayor was a woman named Carly Day. She was elected mayor during the before times, and it just carried over. But she was doing nothing, letting everyone starve and crime skyrocket. People were getting desperate. Soon there wasn't enough food, even for the kingpins. That's when the family came knocking at my door.
Did the family try to rob you?
Keyword there is try.
Huh.
My wife's an engineer and managed to keep the soil on our land purified. We had some of the only viable crops in the area. The family wanted it all for themselves. They were pretty surprised when I took all but one of their raiding party out with my shotgun. Then it became more of a negotiation. The one fellow I left alive told me about how bad things had gotten in the city proper. I knew if I didn't do something, Atlantic City would crumble.
This guy's very impressive. He and his wife. How did you come into power then?
I made my way down to City proper and marched on into City Hall. Met with Carly Day. She wasn't willing to listen to reason, so I gave her an ultimatum. Either she agrees to start doing her job, or gets the hell out of Dodge and lets someone else do it. In a moment of divine inspiration, she chose to flee. No one else wanted to take over her job. You've got the threat of the mafia breathing down your neck, and the showmen were just forming around that time too. So I stepped up to the plate, and that was the start of Atlantic City's rebirth.
Okay. Interesting. Why do people call you guys the Munies?
I can only assume it's short for municipal government, which is what we are. So at least that's correct. It was a derogatory term spread by the family and the showmen to to mock us. They think we're just a bunch of goody two-shoes. Maybe we are. But I fail to see how that's a bad thing. I'd rather be a Muni than a maniac or a mobster.
I do wonder how that ultimatum worked exactly. You should do your job or leave, and then she does leave. It's like, was he threatening her with violence there? I don't understand exactly. It's got to be that, right? What does the mayor's office do around here?
A bit of this and a lot of that. My wife Frida could probably give you a more cohesive breakdown.
Oh,
Easy answer
okay.
is we make sure everyone is fed, watered, safe, and comfortable. We grow the food and promote trade in and out of the city, as well as handle the water purification and the electricity output. And more recently, we've been taking care of the overgrown issue. I like to call it trimming the hedges.
Wonder what's going on in his old farm. I assume that they're still growing food out there, but that's all I wanted to know.
Fair enough. Anything else I can do for you?
I have some questions about Atlantic City.
What's troubling you?
How does the mayor's office deal with the mafia and the showman?
With an immense amount of patience. They're both more concerned with making money above all else. They're meant to keep the peace on the streets if any emergencies come up. Usually they're the ones causing trouble. That and they love to weasel their way out of paying their taxes. Buttercup takes care of that.
Okay, so we need to meet Frida and Buttercup. I'm surprised the government is allied with organized crime.
Atlantic City is a city of sin and vice. That's just its nature. We don't aim for heaven, but rather a civilized hell. You live in hell, do you try to change the devil, knowing another one will just take its place if you succeed? No. You work with it in an attempt to mitigate its evil. That's just what life in Atlantic City is like.
I don't have any more questions.
Glad I could help. You need anything else?
I have to go.
It was a pleasure. Safe travels.
Let's find Frida.
Grow at me?
Let's see. Civilian municipal worker. There's Anna again over there. Where is Frida? I now understand that Frida is Tim's wife. Yes, Mayor Tim.
And we're expected to believe
We have your municipal
I'd stay clear
worker.
of the showman if I were you. Their idea of fun usually puts
I still have yet to meet Frida or Buttercup.
it doesn't matter. I
Let's
wonder
see.
if the
Anybody
family
up
ever gets a
here?
day off.
Let's see.
That could have been me, you know.
cross. Anyone?
I feel like this is actually where we came in, but I could be wrong about that.
I should probably invest in a boat.
But I feel like I remember going around a rotunda.
Overgrown?
So let's try going back through this way. And the door's not even open, and I generally don't close doors behind me. This reminds me a bit of the Capitol in Charleston. What? Oh, is this water purification?
Occasionally. it
Interesting.
feels like Tim and I
Ah,
want
there's
to
Frida.
cuddle, But don't think we've had a chance to chat yet. Figures. Most of the chatting I do is just yelling at faulty wiring. I'm Frida. Frida Lane. I keep the lights on around here.
I'm associating her name with Frito-Lay in my head right now, which... Anyway. What do you do here?
I'm an engineer. Well, I'm the lead engineer, technically. I'm the head of the Power Production and Management Division of the Mayor's Office. Or the PPMD, if you want to save time. It's a fancy way of saying I make sure the power keeps running and that it's diverted to the right places. I oversee all of the other engineers and electricians. I also train them and send them out if anything goes wrong.
Wonder how they generate their
Things
power.
Usually go wrong.
I would assume nuclear, but I'm not sure. Let's see. Do you need any help?
Me? Oh, no. I may moan, but I've got everything under control. I appreciate your attitude. My husband might have some work for you at some point. He's
Okay.
the mayor, but he doesn't look it.
He does not. That's true. I have some questions about Mayor Tim.
All right, what is it?
Is Tim your husband?
Oh, yes. I realize I don't really look the part of a mayor's wife, but if you haven't noticed, the world ended. I doubt schmoozing and political greasing matter much these days.
Well, honest, again, he's not much dressed like a mayor anyway, so... what did you two do before he became mayor?
We were farmers, lived on the outskirts of Atlantic City. He was my high school sweetheart. Tim's family had been farmers for generations, and he was set to take over the family farm. I felt stuck. I felt I had to choose between him and pursuing my engineering degree. But we made it work. Tim promised to help me pay for my degree with the profits from the farm. So we married, and he kept his word. I ended up using my expertise to fix up our equipment. It gave us a competitive edge in the area.
Sounds like it was a good move in the long term. So, what changed? How did you end up here?
Ha! Now that's a story. Back in the day, the mayor was a woman named
Maybe we'll get some more
Carmen Day,
information here on
bland career politician
that ultimatum.
and a notorious coward. When the bombs dropped, she let the mafia and the entertainers who would become the showmen run wild doing whatever they wanted. People were starving and getting sick from dirty water. There was no electricity. They were ready to riot. Turns out entertainment doesn't matter much when you're on death's door. The family got desperate and they came knocking on the farms for food.
This must have been very
They
shortly after the war.
underestimated Tim, that's for sure. After he shot their whole raiding party, they got on their knees and pleaded for food. So, he marched over to City Hall.
There it is.
Confronted Carly, shotgun in hand. Needless to say, she stepped down and he stepped up. I came with him to help, obviously. We got a group of charitable Samaritans to join up. We've been running things around here ever since.
So, what happened to Carly?
She fled the city. Least, that's what Tim told me. Like I said, she wasn't the bravest. She knew she couldn't handle it. Know where she went. I haven't seen her since.
Wondering if Tim killed her from the way she said that. That's all I had to ask.
Okay. Is there anything else you need?
Can you tell me a bit more about the Munis?
Ask away.
What is the civilian government responsible for?
To be blunt, we handle basically everything. Electricity, food, clean water, trade, medicine, security. We make sure the people of Atlantic City are taken care of. It's exhausting work, but no one else is going to do it.
What are the different departments?
Let's see now. There's my department, Power Production and Management Division. We produce electricity and distribute it. I also handle the Water Purification and Distribution Division. Same thing, just with clean water instead of power.
Right.
There's the Internal Revenue
Okay.
Service. Buttercup heads that. They're in charge of, collecting taxes. to
Sounds like
protect
extorting money. The way
They're
she
the
does it.
auditors you've probably seen around town. Then there's the agricultural and caravanning services. Tim oversees
That makes sense.
himself. He manages the output of the farms and the outskirts and ensures the farmers and their farm hands are all properly compensated. Additionally, they distribute food in the city so no one goes hungry. They also trade with the caravans round here for essentials. There's the Emergency Services Division.
Okay.
Anna runs that. They're the paramedics and firefighters.
So the responders
Dispatchers.
of
She
Atlantic
makes
City.
sure every emergency is addressed and that the right people are sent to handle it. Finally, there's the Pine Barrens Forestry Division led by Sloan. They're basically our park
Okay.
rangers. They handle the overgrown threat. You
Interesting.
won't see them around City Hall much, as they spend the day usually scouting the perimeter of the city.
Okay. So, with the mission here being like helping them fight back against Mother Nature, I'm wondering if that's if we like basically kind of leave this area to go out to the Pine Barrens area. Why do people call you Munis?
Short attention span, probably. I assume Muni is short for municipal, as in municipal government, which is what we are. I think the family and the showmen were the ones who started it up. Meant to be derogatory, no doubt. We don't care much to stop it. We've got bigger problems than a nickname. Formally, we're known as the mayor's office.
Problem with having two people as important as these two are and as skilled as they are is that you got to make sure that if something happens to them, you can replace them. because it feels like this is a situation where if Frida and Tim were killed, this city would come crashing down. And again, like Anna, obviously also important, running the emergency services division, but if there's no power, water, food, or trading, you're not going to be able to feed those emergency service providers, and all the rest of the stuff really does come crashing down. It's all important, but again, you have these very important people that you got to wonder if there are replacements for them. Anyway, that's all for now.
Anything else on your mind?
You got to make sure you got apprenticing people and stuff like that. What can you tell me about the other groups in Atlantic City?
What do you need to know?
What do you think of the family?
They're a bunch of thugs who think they're businessmen because they wear suits and have culture. I'd rather spend my caps on a root canal than in that sorry excuse of a casino. Maybe you'll start to see a pattern here. Next question, please.
And the showman. What's your opinion on the showman?
They're a bunch of thugs who think they're entertainers because they wear costumes and speak all fancy. I'd rather moonwalk through a minefield than attend one of their shows. Are you starting to get a good picture of Atlantic City now?
I like Frida. All right. You seem to hate them.
Oh, yes. I'm glad my feelings came across clearly. I wouldn't want you thinking I like them or anything. They're criminals. The only reason they're still around is because their business brings tourists in. We need tourists in Atlantic City to make enough money to keep our civilians alive. Make sense?
Kind of, but not really, because it seems like you're taking care of most of those things yourselves. That's everything I wanted to ask.
All right. Anything else on your mind?
I guess the trade for medicine and ammunition, maybe, if they're not manufacturing
If
those things
there's a
themselves.
later. Stay safe out there.
If there's a later. All right. She is very business-oriented there.
Couldn't pay me.
Okay. Who do we have out here? Oh, okay. So assaulter and rapier are actually probably like titles or ranks. Pete Rutledge. This is a new person.
Have a look at what I've got, and before you ask, no, I don't have more in the back.
Okay. What do you got, Pete? Let's see. Wait, that's my stuff? Oh yeah, that would be my stuff. Weapons, just a pipe wrench. Pastor's vestments, and nothing new there.
Go head down to the pier and
Any mystery candy. I gotta take one of these. I gotta see what this is all about. I know that the April Fool stuff is supposed to be going on right now, so I'm wondering if that's in any way related. Aid. Nothing special there. Recall keycard circuit board.
so this city's
Huh.
run by a circus, the Godfather, and a bunch of
Nothing
underpaid
there.
city workers.
Bunch of junk.
We're expected
No
to
mods and
believe
very little ammo.
they get along.
Doesn't seem like there's much special here other than this mystery candy, which, I don't know, is probably something that I missed at previous parts of the game just because I've been doing stuff for lore and not for... Oh. Huh. That's honestly kind of concerning. Let's see what else we got here. Civilians. Okay, we got a note. A new world. Things have been different since the Painters Association dissolved. Well, who am I kidding? They've been different ever since the war. They didn't feel that different, thanks to the Munis holding everything together. But it makes sense they could only invent work for a dying profession so long. It doesn't matter what color... I love the background changing constantly here. It doesn't matter what color your wall is anymore, only if it's still standing. Despite it all, I'm grateful. Me and Paul are learning new skills, and they need more hands to help patch up holes in the city hall. Mop up floods, repair pipes, and I've resolved to ask the Forestry Division for arms training. Things are getting more dangerous around here. I guess that means my old life has ended, but it's not over. Now I'm embarking on a new one. No matter what happens, my spirit will live on in the city I call home. In the hearts of those I care about, that's what gives me strength to face the new world with my head held high. No more looking back, onward and upward, Nick. Okay, so there was a Painters Association, the employees of which seem to have joined in with municipal maintenance. This color change is interesting, but also frustrating my ability to see anything special. Let's see. Civilians. Okay, we got a safe. I love how this is, yeah, it's just like, yep, you're authorized to open that safe. It's like, this is part of City Hall territory here. This does not belong to me, but you're just fine if I loot this thing. These people aren't going to get angry. How does that make any sense? Anyway, let's see what we got going. Okay, more storage here. Municipal workers.
Red? I wish I knew Tim's secret.
Mom never loved you. Okay. Let's see. I'd still love to find Buttercup. Because it is... Oh, jeez. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Is this stuff like Nuka Shine? Where are we going to end up? Oh, no. Am I by Vault 51? I am. Okay. Apparently taking that candy is enough to send you multiple states back, even via a vertibird, so that's interesting. Back to the flooded city center. Alright, it's nearly been an hour here, but I do want to find Buttercup so we can at least talk to them and maybe Sloan before we close things out here, because I want to get a full representation of the Muni personnel. I'm really looking forward to actually fully investigating this stuff and creating a video on it. I really want to know what's going on with these overgrown. What exactly they are, why there's more of them, what's going on with all that. Now that I know these are ranks, I know these are not special people out here. Rapier and Assaulter. Oh, now they're both Rapiers.
New to HC, you're looking.
Oh, what's this over here? Oh, that's interesting. They've actually done specialized signs for all these shops in the area, and typically what they do is they just repeat like the old things where it's like just a random basic deli sign. Treasure and Trade Pawn Shop. Richard's Haberdashers. I'd love to see if there's actually any sort of relation between these things and real sites in Atlantic City. I'll have to look into that at some point. Oop, overgrown thorn again. Seriously, these things remind me of the old Mirelurk Kings from Fallout 3. Nothing over here. Okay, what's this? Okay, there's a safe. Let's see if there's anything interesting in here. I gotta say, as much as I do appreciate them adding that new lockpicking mechanism with Starfield, this is so much faster. Yeah. That's it. Wait, unrefined gunpowder? Was that an item in there? What is that? I don't remember seeing that. Maybe it's just... Okay, so it's just gunpowder. Alright. Maybe I just missed seeing that before at some point, but... Let's see. Premium Spirits. Cregan's Premium Spirits and Cigars. I feel like this area is actually fairly small, but they make it feel larger by obfuscating your view with buildings and then also having kind of like a twisting, turning system of walkways. Like, I'm willing to bet you this, right past this, is basically just where we were. But it feels a lot longer when you walk all the way around the building. Stevenson's. There's City Hall again. Nook and Niche Mart. Can we go in here? Okay, safe. Scoped handmade, those are fun, but I have 2 pounds left. So let's just leave that where it is. Okay, so there's definitely something interesting over there. I would not be surprised if that is what leads out to the Pine Barrens. Let's actually just go take a quick look. Oh, they got ghouls working here too. So that gives us a little bit of insight in its own right. We know that ghouls are accepted members of the society. Well, they're not killed at the very least. I mean, that guy was just working as a municipal worker. So, with a single instance of a ghoul, we don't know if they're accepted into the normal parts of their society or if they use them for work outside of City Hall or something like that. So definitely still more information to look into, but at the very least we know they don't shoot them on sight. Now, okay, I will say this. I absolutely appreciate the fact that they decided to set up this campsite here, and like it's like, oh, it's sign of what happened here in the pre-war, but this is like literally across the street from City Hall. They really wouldn't have cleared this out at some point? That doesn't seem real. That's, I think, a problem that Bethesda does have, is that they don't think about that stuff sometimes. Or at the very least, it doesn't bother them enough to make something seem a bit more realistic, which again, in my view, would be that those skeletons would not be there in a real circumstance. Okay, so this is another area we have not been to yet. It definitely seems a bit more vegetal. Let's see. What? It was... Oh, that was a Jersey Devil. That's the new cryptid. New, who knows? I may have missed their introduction before, but... Interesting. It looks like... almost like a cross between a Wendigo and a Deathclaw. Like, it's about a Deathclaw the size of a Wendigo, and has a few features that are more humanoid than they are... Oh! More hominid than reptilian. What is this thing? Interesting. So it's got horns, though. Sharp... Oh! I'm looking at this Jersey Devil. Okay, so it's got horns and teeth. It's got a sharp tail. It's got clawed hands and feet. It fights by swinging its arms. Interesting. Okay. This one kept its head when it died, so let's take that stuff and take another look at this thing. Come on. There we go. Interesting. Yellow eyes. Okay. And again, this says it's a lesser devil, so I assume that means there's a greater version of it. I wonder what this was a statue of. Any indication? No. Okay. What do we got over here? Fontaine d'Asta? Italian restaurant. Apparently the office was out front. And there's no dining room. Unless this was the dining room, and it's like the smallest dining room. And there's no kitchen. I'm confused. Unless maybe this stuff's upstairs? There's another seating area. There's no kitchen yet in this Italian restaurant. So unless this was like some sort of really poorly orchestrated front for the mob, I don't understand how this was supposed to work. Is that the kitchen? This seems more like an apartment. This is in... Yeah, this was an apartment, so I don't know. And here's another apartment. Why is there no kitchen for this Italian restaurant? Again, this could just be like a front for the mob, but like what front would look so illegitimate as this? To where it's like, yeah, it's a restaurant, cops. Don't worry about it. There's no kitchen, guys. You can't pull one over on us that easy. I don't know. That is a little bit disappointing, I'll say that. That, along with that little campsite full of skeletons right across from City Hall, both things that feel like they were not 100% thought out. But generally speaking, I've been enjoying this content quite a bit. Let's go back and see if we can find... I was hoping to see that this would go towards the Pine Barrens or something, but let's go head back and see if we can find Sloane and Buttercup before closing things out. I would also expect there to be more armed guards outside the fence. But maybe that's just me. Maybe fewer in, like right inside the gates and stuff like that, because they're kind of assuming that you get to that point and you're not a threat. But let's see. Okay. Municipal workers. Okay, we got another ghoul here that just seems to be a normal civilian, so that gives us a little more information, and it seems they are just normal members of their society. Okay, we've already been up here, but I don't remember checking around the other side. I was doing this when that candy took us back to Appalachia. That was a mistake. What do we got over here? This looks like this guy could be interesting. Nope. Just a very unique looking municipal worker. Really thought that that would be a NPC we could talk to. Buttercup. Okay.
There better be a good reason you're blocking my light. Name's Buttercup. I lead the Internal Revenue Services for Atlantic City.
You look a bit out of place here.
What? Because I'm not stitching up wounds or putting out fires? I hate to break it to you, kid, but even groups of total do-gooders need caps to get things done. The Munis can only be selfless up to a point. If they're dehydrated and starving, how are they supposed to help anybody? I make sure everyone else in AC appreciates what we're doing here.
Okay. Let's talk about the Munis.
Oh boy, small talk. My favorite.
What's the point of the mayor's office?
The point? The point is to keep people alive, numbskull. Most people can't even tie their shoes. You really think they'll be able to survive out there on their own? We keep everyone fed, hydrated, alive. Without us, there'd be no running water or electricity in AC.
I'm hoping for some
Consider
information
yourself
on
lucky that you came here after Tim
who he
took
was
over,
before Tim
and
took
not
over.
before.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. What were things like before Tim became mayor?
Bad. Pretty damn bad. Previous mayor was a hack named Carly Day. She was the mayor before the bombs. And after, she just stayed. But she didn't do anything. Crime was rampant. People were dropping like flies. Since Tim took over, it's been like a whole new city. Sure, we may gripe and moan, but for the most part, we're well taken care of. And safe.
Okay. What happened to Carly?
Oh, her. Well, no one really knows. She probably just went on vacation.
Okay.
We'll end up going on vacation
Yeah,
too,
there we go.
if you keep asking
They killed her.
questions.
I mean, there's... yeah, they definitely killed her. It's a bit funny that you're still collecting taxes after the apocalypse.
Oh, you think it's funny? I fail to see the humor there. I take my job very seriously. Without the revenue we collect from the other organizations in Atlantic City, the mayor's office wouldn't be able to function. We'd be utterly useless. So pay your damn taxes.
I will say that I'd love to know more of a timeline here of how this stuff works. Just like when did Tim take over? Because it's now been, what is it? It's 2105, which means that it's now been 28 years since the bombs. So when exactly did they take over? Have they been doing this for like 25 years now? Something like that? 27 years? I'd love to know. I don't even live here. Would you still collect taxes from me?
That depends. You do work here?
That's none of your business.
It's usually easier to just tell me, String Bean. It's easier to talk while you still have a mouth.
It's big talk for someone who's talking to someone who launches nukes for a living. I'd love to talk about something else.
Maybe you'd like to, but I wouldn't.
I'd like to know more about you.
The last person who said that had to get therapy.
Why do you like your job so much?
What's not to love? I get a free pass to crack tax-evading toothpicks in half. I get paid for it too. It's not much, but at least it's for the greater good. I used to run with a gang. It paid well, but they were weak. In every capacity.
Okay.
Now, Tim, that man's strong. Real strength comes from resolve and determination. Not because you shot a few soda bottles doing target practice.
How'd you get the name Buttercup?
You got a problem with my name?
No, it's super tough. Like, really awesome name.
Now you, I like. There's a story behind that name. Some years back, when I was still running with my old gang, we had a rivalry going on with some guys in the casino quarter. One day, we got into a shouting match outside a pre-war toy store. One of them said some not-so-nice things to me. So, I grabbed the closest thing I could find. A fully assembled giddy-up Buttercup. I took that toy horse and beat him to death with it. Until there was nothing left but pulp. My own gang started calling me Buttercup to tease me or something, after the fact. So I killed them with that damn horse too. You want to see it? I'll keep it on display over the fireplace in my office.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely look into that. Let's talk about something else.
Okay?
I have to go. Talk to you later.
I'm sure you will.
Okay. Is this his office? Is there a fireplace? Oh, there it is. Can we take it? Can we take... I've got your giddy up, Buttercup. What you gonna do about it, Buttercup?
Mine, babe.
All right, let's see. They really should not have allowed you to pick that up. Oh, man. Okay, what do we got going on here?
Joel?
Still trying to find Sloan.
Ashley. Nope.
I feel like...
Eaten by
Have you met the family? Yeah, probably not, considering you're still alive. We're some...
I know I checked this office already, but the fact that Buttercup was on the opposite side makes me think that maybe I missed somebody in here. No, doesn't seem like it. Well, they did say that Sloan was basically managing the fight against the Overgrown, so it could be that they're not here at the office. They could be out somewhere else.
Hey,
No. It is funny to me that these guards look so much like Preston Garvey. Civilian. I'm gonna scrap that giddy up, Buttercup.
That's your tour guide.
Think the Muni
Uh-oh.
job.
Okay, let's see.
We have ways of getting what we need at City Hall. Don't you worry.
Okay, let's see what's
I don't
falling
see
apart
anybody
today.
else. Of course, I'm sure that I have not fully explored the entirety of City Hall here. Let's give it another minute.
you know if it's happy hour.
Is that another computer there? Oh, okay. Oh, we got entries going back all the way to right after the war. February 14th, 2078. This is Steve Hilden, former land and soil surveyor for Becknott Land and Soil. I have since moved to the science team, as Mayor Day calls it. Mayor Day, okay. And I'm now in charge of setting up water monitoring and purification systems. I was never much fond of her or her political decisions, but clean water after what just happened is the first good decision that has come from her. We've been moving as much equipment from what's left of Becknott as we can tear up, as well as any other tech from nearby buildings. It hasn't been easy rafting many of these consoles through the floodwaters, and in fact we've lost a few loads already. Luckily we've had plenty of tradesmen survive the initial flooding, and are able to start welding together some pipe work to siphon water in and out of the purification tank we're setting up in the rotunda. We should have this whole system up and running in about a month. Interesting. So Carla Day was already working on water purification back in February of 2078. The water purification system is up and running sooner than originally projected. We've had a few major leaks, but it all seems to be under control now. The tank has been running for a few hours, and after a day or two we should have some actual numbers to go by. May 12th, 2078. It's been 2 months since the purification process has been in operation. We were initially pumping the clean water into metal and plastic drums, but as of recent, work has begun on constructing piping to run throughout town. This should cut down drastically on the issues of transportation. The only trouble is we're quickly running out of scavenged pipes and scrap to make more. The settlement over in the modern side of town have been scrapping settlement over in the, I don't know, that the wording seems a little odd there. Scrapping some of the more ruined buildings and hauling the metals over here. Hopefully we can construct some piping to pump clean water over to them. July 18th, 2078. I've been hearing local banter about people getting sick and the contaminated dead sprouting fungus. Okay, interesting.
I'm gonna charge 'em extra.
The contaminated dead sprouting fungus. So those are corpses that we're encountering. Rumor has it that there's something in the filtered water, but there's also some talk of other more decayed corpses with the same symptoms. As if we didn't have enough on the plate already, now it seems that we have some sort of epidemic on our hands. No one seems to have any solid clue on where this could be coming from, and unfortunately, too, the few doctors we have aren't skilled botanists, so they're having a difficult time determining what it could even be. This is really interesting. August 2nd, 2078. Food supplies have been running low for the last year, and Mayor Day hasn't done anything to fix it. Some of the newly formed groups over in the entertainment district have been raiding farms just so that they can keep the tourists in their hotel happy. Well, I overheard that they picked on the wrong farm last week.
I wish I knew Tim's
The wrong
secret.
farmer the other week. Apparently this Tim Lane has managed to fend off his farm. Defend his farm, I think they mean. And then he came into the city hall to confront Day about the fiasco. It's pretty common knowledge that Day had been running everything into the ground, but Mr. Lane told her to step it up or get the hell out. I was talking with his wife Frida, and it sounds like both of them could really do some good for Atlantic City. So they've been running the city since August of 2078. Okay, so that's gives us information that I was directly looking for. It does sound like Mayor Day was trying to do something. I'm wondering if something that they did wrong had something to do with the creation of these Overgrown. But again, the Overgrown also seems like it's walking corpses? But is it really just ghouls? I don't know, because they have ghouls here that look completely different. I don't know. There's definitely more information than I need. That gives me a start of things to look into, but there's definitely still not everything I need there. Still looking for Sloan. I don't see anybody else in here. But then again, I just found that computer after having missed that before, so I'm sure there's more things to find here within this town hall. I'm going to definitely have to map literally everything and make sure that I have not missed anything else. But what else? Is there anything else that we need to find in here? Pete Rutledge we've talked to. He is the trader.
Have you been down to the aquarium?
I don't see Sloan. Okay, I think I'm going to call it quits here. Again, over the next couple days, look for the Novak video. After that, I'm going to again be filming here in 76, but in Point Pleasant during the Mothman Equinox event. And then after that, I'm definitely going to be getting into this stuff because there's a lot of interesting information here in Atlantic City, and I'm very much looking forward to getting into it, assembling the lore and sharing it with y'all because there is some very interesting stuff going on here in Atlantic City. So anyway, though, it's been great to hang out with y'all. I hope y'all have a good weekend, and I will see you all next time.